Help me reach 5,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. She started locking her phone in the bathroom to brush her teeth. That was the first odd thing. We'd been married long enough that toothpaste on the mirror was more serious than any notification. That night, I tapped the door. You good in there? Just a minute. Cool. Is your dentist texting you life advice? Silence. Water ran. The lock clicked. She came out with that plain face that says nothing and tells you everything. Lauren, my wife, dropped her phone into her robe pocket like it was a newborn. If I'd known where that road led, I would have started counting miles right there. The next morning, I poured coffee and put a plate out like usual. 2 eggs, toast, little salt. She slid in, glanced at the plate, and nudged it away. Not hungry, she mumbled. You ate last night. She swiped on her screen, ignoring me. I'm fine. You're a terrible liar before 10. She looked up. Can we not? We cannot. I pushed the plate in the center and leaned on the counter. Then tell me what we are doing. Lately, it's you and your screen. I'm a roommate with a lawnmower. I'm tired, Mark. Of what? Of this conversation. She stood, carried her mug to the sink, and left it there dry. That was new. She used to rinse things. She used to touch my arm when she needed space. Now it was a silent treatment with stainless steel. All right, I told the sink. We'll try a different language. I didn't chase. I cleaned the mug. Then I pulled my calendar up at the table and started editing. Initiative is the only antidote to fog. I canceled our Friday dinner with the neighbors, Jen and Carl, because I wasn't dragging myself into a couple's night where I'd be the punchline for someone else's boredom. I also moved my Saturday morning from yard work together to shop, Mike's garage. I'd help Mike with a brake job and drink his over-roasted coffee. I didn't ask for permission. I left a simple note on the fridge. I adjusted some plans. Let's talk if you want them back. M. When she saw it that afternoon, she didn't fight. She didn't even blink. She just took a photo of the note like she was collecting evidence for a museum. That night, she came home late from yoga. No mat, no water bottle, no sweat, just cool perfume that didn't belong to yoga. I stood at the kitchen island, cleaning a knife. How was class? I asked without looking up. It was fine. Still doing the slow breathing, or is it fast breathing now? She hung her bag on the chair. Are we doing jokes tonight? I'm terrible at slow breathing. She stared at me too long. You're being strange. Strange would be pretending nothing changed. Nothing changed. I wiped the blade and slid it into the block. Then let's keep it simple. We eat, we talk, we keep our phones face up on the table, and we rinse our dishes like civilized people. I'm not policing you. I'm setting a floor for respect. Wow. She laughed once. A floor for respect. Yeah, basic things. That's controlling. It's adult. She folded her arms. I'm not putting my phone face up for your comfort. Then don't. But I'm not sitting here pretending your bathroom meetings are meditation. She grabbed an apple from the bowl like it owed her money. You've always had trust issues. I've always had eyes. She took a bite, stared at me chewing like it was a speech, and then turned toward the hall. I need a shower. Take your phone, I called. It's already with me. Of course. I wasn't going to dig through her bag. I wasn't going to sniff collars like a teenager. I had a better tool, time. If she kept sliding, I'd step out of the way and let gravity teach. But I wasn't waiting passively. That night, I moved more things around. I set a separate budget for myself with direct deposit split. 60% to our joint like usual, 40 into my private account that I'd used for tools and projects. I wasn't hiding. I left the new split on the whiteboard in the laundry room where we posted bills. New deposit ratio until communication improves, 60/40ths. We'll revisit when there's a we to revisit. Next morning she found it. What's this? She stood in the doorway while I tied my shoes. Budget. Clear rules. Less room for confusion. You're punishing me because I don't want to be interrogated at dinner? I'm limiting exposure where respect is unclear. Grown-up version of seatbelts. She stepped inside, arms wide. This is petty. Petty is hiding in bathrooms. You know what, forget it. She grabbed her keys. I'm late. That's your new theme. She paused like she might throw something mean. Then she sucked it down and left. Door closed. The house took a breath it had been holding. Friday came with its own show. Jen still texted about the canceled dinner. She's a nurse with a mouth like a toolbox, straightforward and sharp. You okay? She wrote. Just dialing in the communication I sent back. That evening, Lauren announced from the hallway while applying lipstick in her phone camera. We're still going to Jen and Carl's, right? No. It's off. You canceled without asking me? Yes. That's rude. It's efficient. I won't sit through a night where our side comments become jokes for an audience. We fix things privately, or we don't go. So I have to stay home because you're sulking? You can go. Say I didn't want to come. She looked genuinely surprised I'd give her the space. Then the surprise hardened into offense because my calm took away her favorite angle. I'll go, she said, testing. Have fun. She left with that stiff walk people use when they want you to chase them to the door. I didn't. At 9, she came back smelling like white wine and judgment. Jen asked why you skipped, she called from the hallway. What did you tell her? That you were being sensitive. Accurate. Sensitive to respect. She came into the living room and leaned on the couch. They think you're overreacting. That's a relief. They aren't married to me. What is that supposed to mean? Means our marriage has 2 votes, not 4. She opened her mouth, shut it, then tried another door. Carl joked that you probably had a guy night to avoid their questions. I set the remote down. Then Carl can come fix the gutters with me tomorrow if he wants to spend quality time. Are you doing that instead of our hike? I'm helping Mike with breaks at the shop in the morning and doing the gutters in the afternoon. The hike wasn't confirmed because we haven't had a real conversation in a week. So you just remove yourself. When the room fills with fog, I step outside. She scoffed and walked out. The fog thickened. Saturday at Mike's garage gave me exactly what I needed: noise, grease, and a straight-shooting friend. Mike's the kind of guy who calls a wrench and a mistake a mistake. We finished the brake job and sat on overturned buckets with paper cups of coffee. You look tired, he said. I'm fine. You always say that when you're not. Move me up to functional then. He took a slow sip. What's going on at home? I gave him the short version. Bathroom phone, canceled dinner, budget split. Mike nodded along. You did what you needed to do. But don't confuse calm with weakness. If someone's playing you, they're counting on you to stay polite in your own house. I'm not clinging. Good. And don't dig. Let truth walk in on its own. It always does. On my way out, I grabbed a couple of those big storage bins he keeps stacked near the door. Mind if I borrow these? He raised an eyebrow. You planning a move? I'm planning clarity. Bring them back empty or full. Either way, you'll hear the story. Sunday started as a small fire and tried to become a parade. Sunday afternoon, we went to Jen and Carl's for a backyard barbecue. Lauren insisted, said it would be good to be normal. I agreed because public places are perfect for set boundaries. Jen hugged me at the gate. You two okay? We're tuning the engine, I told her. Carl thumped my shoulder. You missed a good debate Friday. We argued about whether couples should have each other's passcodes. I said heck no. Jen shot him a look. He said more than heck. I smiled. I'm boring. I like open screens and rinsed dishes. Lauren rolled her eyes. He's in a mood, don't mind him. Jen watched us like a nurse tracking vitals. We sat, plates loaded, neighbors laughing about yard projects and soccer practice schedules. 10 minutes in, Lauren slid a joke onto the table. Mark schedules his feelings on a spreadsheet now, she said, grinning into her cup. He posts them in the laundry room like the electric bill. Carl snorted. That's advanced. Jen's eyes flicked from her to me. The circle laughed. It wasn't cruel, but it was a small cut delivered with a plastic spoon. I set my fork down and let the quiet around me grow just enough. It's called standards, I replied. I put them where we won't forget. It beats guessing games. She tilted her head. You're getting defensive. I'm getting clear. Since we're trading tips, here's mine. I turned to the group and kept my voice even. We're taking a step back on couples nights until our house is straight. No drama, just a timeout. If you want me for a beer, call me directly. Otherwise, don't expect both of us by default. The table went still. Not angry, just aware. Jen gave a small nod. That's fair. Lauren laughed again, a little forced. You love attention. I shrugged. I love clean lines. That was the line. After dessert, while people stood around the grill, Lauren drifted close, voice low. You embarrassed me. I drew a boundary. You did it in public. Yes, because the disrespect started in public. You landed a joke in front of our friends. I returned the ball with my name on it. She stared at me. Then something softened in her eyes. She put a hand on my arm. Okay, she said quietly. I hear you. I've been off. Work's been crazy. I'll try harder. Trying is a start. I'm sorry for the joke. I held her look. Apology accepted. She squeezed my arm and left to grab drinks. That was the first illusion. It felt like a small sunrise, enough light to make you think you imagined the storm. On the way home, she put a playlist on and reached for my hand. I let her hold it for 3 miles. Then she let go and checked her phone while pretending she wasn't. Monday brought the second shift. I made dinner. She called from the kitchen when I got home. The table was set, candles lit, my favorite chicken done right. She plated it herself and sat close. This is nice, I said. I wanted to reset. Good plan. She lifted her glass and touched mine. To us. I ate, listened, kept it simple. When I cleared my plate, she stepped behind me, rubbed my shoulders, put her chin near my ear. It was sweet, too sweet, the swing from ice to honey that makes your teeth ache. I let it last a minute, then stood. Thank you, I told her. I mean it. I miss when we were easy, she whispered. We can be easy again, but easy needs honesty. Her hand slowed. I know. Okay, I said. Then let's start with the small thing. Who's been the emergency texter in your bathroom? She pulled away like the stove was too hot. There's nothing to tell. Then tell nothing with the phone face up. I'm not living like that. Then I'm not living in the fog. Her jaw tightened. Forget it. I don't forget. I adjust. She went to bed early, alone. Walked in on a Tuesday with a straight face. I was tightening a hinge on the pantry when she walked by in jeans and a soft top. She never wore to coffee. I'm going for coffee with the girls. We'll be late. It landed like a stage direction she practiced. I looked up at her shoes. They were the good heels, not coffee shoes. Which girls? I asked. You don't know them. Should I? Stop, Mark. I wiped my hand and picked up my keys. Take your time. She hesitated. Don't wait up. I won't. The door shut. I counted to 10, grabbed my jacket, and left by the garage. I didn't need permission to drive my own eyes. I took the old pickup, the one with the engine that hums like a fan, and eased down the block. She headed west. I hung back 2 lights, calm as a mailman. Downtown. She turned into the parking lot of the little cafe on Maple, the one with chalkboard menus and a patio where people pretend hot drinks make them interesting. She parked. I rolled past and tucked behind a work van across the street. No drama, just observation. She walked in with that step you reserve for someone you want to impress. 5 minutes later, she came back out, not alone. A man followed, mid-30s, tidy, new haircut you can set a watch by. He touched her elbow like a bookmark. They sat at a corner table. He leaned in, smiling the way people smile when they think rules are optional. I didn't take pictures. I didn't need trophies. I watched long enough to know this wasn't a job interview or a cousin from out of state. Her face did the thing, soft focus, eager nods, that tuned-in attention she hadn't given me in a month. She laughed at something he said and reached for his hand for a second in that way you do when you're talking about big plans and trying to make someone feel bold. That's the moment respect died. Not a scream, not a calamity. A small contact in front of a chalkboard. I didn't go in. I didn't cast shadows in their scene. I pulled away, drove to Mike's garage, and backed up to the side door. He came out wiping his hands. You good? I'm going to borrow those bins you offered. He looked in my eyes for a second and nodded. They're yours. I'll return them later. Either way, he said, you're not the kind of man who leaves them here. I went home. I opened our closet and took down the luggage. Hers, the nice set we used for family trips. I don't do tantrums, I do logistics. I packed everything she'd need for a week. Work clothes, casual, shoes, toiletries from the drawer. No ripping, no throwing, no petty notes. The house was quiet, dryer humming, the real soundtrack of marriage. I stood in that and finished the work. Then I rolled the suitcases to the front door and set them upright like guests waiting for a ride. I propped a simple index card on top. Keys on the hook, garage code disabled at midnight. We'll talk tomorrow afternoon. Then I cooked myself a burger, ate it at the counter, and took a long shower. When the house was ready, I sat by the entryway with the table lamp on and waited for my wife to walk into a room organized for the truth. At 11, the lock turned. She stepped in, saw the suitcases, and froze like someone pulled the rug. Her eyes shot to me on the chair. What is this? How was the date? Her hand went to her hair. What? How was the date? I repeated, even. At the cafe on Maple. She blinked hard. You followed me. I watched. That's insane. Honest question. How was it? She inhaled like she might deliver a speech. Then panic flickered across her face the way smoke slips through a doorframe. She looked at the suitcases, at the note, at me. I was meeting a friend, she said. Define friend. You're making something out of nothing. I'm making order out of facts. You can tell me the entire story in brutal detail, or you can take those and go to your mother's tonight. We talk tomorrow when words have value. You can't kick me out of my house. I'm not kicking anyone. I'm enforcing a boundary. There's no yelling, no pleading, no mud. Just a pause. This home is not an arena for double lives. That's a big phrase for someone who stalked a cafe. I stood, kept my voice low. Listen, I canceled dinners instead of performing. I split the budget instead of arguing. I asked for basic open screens and clear talk. In return, you gave me jokes in public and secret meetings in private. So now I'm giving you space. Over there, at your mom's, so I can breathe here. She swallowed. You're overreacting. Then take a day. Maybe my over turns out to be exactly right. I'm not going anywhere. Then your keys go on the hook, and your phone stays here until we talk to reduce confusion. She stared. You're insane. I'm steady. You can't demand my phone. I can demand honesty in my home. If you want to stay, put it on the counter face up and tell me everything. If you can't do that, your suitcases are patient. Her shoulders dropped a fraction. She looked toward the hallway like there might be a script back there. Then she pivoted, grabbed the handle of the first suitcase, and yanked it toward the porch. You'll regret this, she threw over her shoulder. I doubt it. She dragged both suitcases down the steps to the driveway and dialed. Mom, can you open the spare? I'm coming. I locked the door behind her. Not slamming, just turning a knob. I walked back to the whiteboard and wiped off, revisit when there's a we. I left the rest. Then I sat at the table and wrote out the morning on a sticky note. Bank, freeze secondary card. Payroll, confirm deposit. County clerk, 8 a.m. appointment. Email Lauren's work. Forward any paperwork to her personal email. Garage code reset at 12 a.m. Midnight came and went. I went to bed in clean sheets that smelled like fabric softener with a name I never remember. No ceremony, just sleep. Scene 4 arrived dressed like regret. At 7 a.m., my phone lit up with messages. Can we talk? I'm outside. Please open. I brewed coffee. Then I opened the door. She stepped in fast, put both hands on my chest like a movie scene, and kissed me. A big swing. Too big. I made a mistake, she rushed out. It wasn't what you think. It was exactly what I saw. It was lunch. It was a date. She blinked. Stop calling it that. Tell me his name. It doesn't matter. It does to me. I can explain. I'm listening. She hovered, trying to pick the right tone. I wasn't happy, Mark. We haven't been right for a while. We had 1,000 options for not happy. None of them looked like Tuesday night. She tried again. He's a friend from work. We talk. It's not a big deal. You held his hand. It was a second. It was enough. She slipped into another strategy, soft voice, gentle eyes, a palm on my arm. I don't want to lose you. I panicked last night. I'm here because I want us. You want control back. I want my husband. Good. Then be honest. About what? About everything. She went quiet. Then she did the merciful thing and told the truth in small pieces, the way people do when they're still protecting their favorite parts. We grabbed coffee twice. We texted. It was a tension. Was this before the bathroom phone routine or after? Don't do this. Which? She looked at the floor. Before. Then the bathroom was for him. Her head jerked. It was for me. To breathe. Your story has less oxygen than a gym locker. Tears came, not the loud ones. The strategic ones. The ones that arrive to negotiate terms. She reached again. I'm not your judge, I told her. I'm your line. The line says, we don't do this. Ever. I don't care how bored you are with our routines. I'm telling you I want to fix it, she pressed. I'll get rid of his number. I'll stop going out. Whatever you need. What I need is the respect that would have kept you from that table in the first place. Please. I stepped back. Here's the plan. You stay at your mom's for a few days. You talk to someone who isn't him. I'll talk to someone who isn't you. We meet with clear terms. If there's any more secret behavior between now and then, the conversation ends forever. That's too much. It's the minimum. She stared like she could bully gravity. Then she softened again, went in for a hug, pressed her face into my chest. I love you, she said into my shirt. You love being adored. That's cruel. That's precise. She pulled back, wounded by the shape of truth rather than the content. So that's it. You're tossing me out. No, I'm ending access until we have respect. You don't get both worlds in one mortgage. I can't believe you. I believe enough for both of us. She wiped her eyes. Mom has to work today. I'll need to stay here until this afternoon. Not today. You can't do this. I am. She grabbed her phone like a lifeline. I'll call Jen. She'll talk sense into you. Call whoever confirms your story. The plan stands. She dialed. Jen, can I come over for a few hours? He's doing a thing. I could hear Jen's voice crackling even though I wasn't on speaker. What happened? He's being controlling. Jen paused long enough to say more than words. Come by, she said finally. Lauren hung up and glared. You're making a mistake. I've made a lot. This one feels right. She yanked open the door and left. No suitcase this time. No show. Just a slam of tires on the driveway. I texted Jen, don't let my house be the topic. Not your job. She replied, not planning to. You okay? Clarity is expensive. I'm paying. At 8:05, I was at the county clerk's office. I didn't need a judge. I needed a file opened and a box checked. The clerk handed me a simple form. I filled it in and slid it back. It was unemotional, like changing an address. On my way out, I called the bank and froze the secondary card, then the utility company to split notifications. I emailed HR to confirm the direct deposit changes. I saved my passwords to a fresh manager and texted Mike. Bins will be back tonight. Take your time, he sent. Scene 5 tried one last time to bargain. At noon, my phone buzzed. It was Lauren. Can we meet at the house? I'll be there in 20. You can come pick up your suitcases, I responded. We'll talk on the porch. I'm not doing this on a porch. That's the only room open for negotiations. She arrived at one like a storm that hadn't decided if it wanted to rain or break furniture. She stood on the steps, arms folded. This is childish, she started. This is clean. You filed this morning? Yes. You're unbelievable. I'm boring. I keep promises. You said we'd talk tomorrow. We are. Inside. No. She inhaled, exhaled, weighed her angles. Then she shifted, another illusion, bigger than the others. She softened, gave me the little smile from our early years, crossed her arms under her chest like she used to when she was trying to charm me into an extra night out with friends. Look, she said gently. We don't have to scorch earth. I can stop seeing him. I can show you my phone. I can be home at 6. We can go back to Sunday dinners. I want simple, Mark. I miss laughing with you over nothing. Don't throw us away over a moment. A part of me wanted to take the offer and pretend the last month was a bad dream. If she had given me this 2 weeks earlier, it might have worked. But now I had a clean line on the floor, and crossing it would mean my word meant nothing even to me. Good speech, I told her. But yours simple has a lot of fine print. I'm not a warden. I'm a husband. Different job. So that's it. Here's what it is. We separate. You take your things. We meet once with a third party to divide what needs dividing. No yelling. No public theater. Then we go live the lives we actually want instead of auditions. I want you. You want your comfort. That's unfair. That's accurate. She flicked her eyes at the security camera over the porch. Glad you're filming your noble stand. It's not recording. It's there to remind me houses are made of choices. She stared at the suitcases like they'd betrayed her. Where will I go? You said your mom. She'll have questions. Tell her we grew in different directions. She'll hate you. She doesn't live here. Lauren steadied herself. If you push this, you'll be alone. I'm not afraid of quiet. You'll miss me. I'll miss who I married. I haven't seen her lately. That landed. She glanced toward the street, then back at me, then away again like the air itself was wrong. Fine, she said. Then help me with the bags. I'll carry them to the car. I lifted both suitcases and loaded them into her trunk. She watched in silence like she wanted to memorize my back in case she needed anger later. When I closed the trunk, she spoke soft. Last chance. I shook my head. She pointed at the house. You'll end up with a quiet kitchen and a stack of tools. Sounds like peace. Goodbye then. Wait. She turned. You forgot your keys. She looked at the ring in my palm and took it slow. You're serious. I'm clean. She opened the car door, paused, and tried one last jab. You're being dramatic. No, Lauren. I'm being exact. She left. The street swallowed her taillights. I stood on the porch and felt the kind of stillness you get in a workshop when the power's off. It wasn't joy. It wasn't grief. It was the space in which you decide who you're going to be for the rest of your life. That night, I returned Mike's bins. He met me in the driveway. "You good?" he asked. I kept my word. He nodded. "That's heavier than love some days. Feels lighter in the long run." We stood there, two men who've known each other longer than all the phases of our haircuts, saying nothing for a while. "You going to be okay?" he finally asked. "I already am." He believed me. I did too. The next morning, while the clerk stamped the last paper, my phone buzzed with a text from Jen. "She came by yesterday," she wrote. I didn't take sides. Just told her to figure out what she actually wants and stop using people to test it. "You good?" "Better than good," I responded. "Thank you." Weeks move different when your house is light. I reset my routines. I changed the garage code and the Wi-Fi. I moved the bed to the other wall and cleared the closet like a man ending a season, not a man hiding from a ghost. I gave the living room to silence for a while, then to friends. We watched a game, ate terrible wings, and nobody asked probing questions. They just used coasters and left by 10. My kind of people. Work ran smoother than it had in months. I showed up early, left when the last email was answered, and gave extra hours to the projects I'd been dodging because home had too many moving parts. My boss, Troy, stopped by my desk one afternoon and tapped a report. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." I took some weight off the bar, I told him. "Looks good on you." On a Saturday 2 months later, I took a drive just to take a drive. The pickup was solid, but I'd been eyeing something newer for a while. I found a used SUV with clean lines and a fair price. No flashy badge, just reliable. I bought it with my own money from that separate account and drove it home with the window down, a little proud, a little amused by the quiet joy of doing what you want without checking a calendar someone else is hiding. I met someone too, not because I was hunting, because I was at a hardware store buying screws and a woman in the plumbing aisle was arguing with a faucet. Her name was Jenna. She's a teacher with a dry sense of humor and a way of listening that shows up without trying to fix you. We did coffee on a Saturday afternoon with both our phones face up, because why not? She asked about my last year. I told her one clean story without venom. "That sounds hard," she said. It was clear. I like clear. So do I. We didn't rush anything. She met Mike, held her own in a conversation about torque she didn't care about, and laughed at the right places. She respected space. That mattered more than anything. Every so often, Jen would mention something in passing. "Lauren's at her mom's for now," she said over her fence one evening. She took a new shift. Lots of long nights. She looked tired last week. "Hope she finds what she needs," I told her. "You didn't do her dirty," Jen said. "You drew a line she ignored." I gave myself back my own time. Jen nodded. Good line. Months stacked. I repainted the bedroom. I put a bench at the foot of the bed because I always wanted one. I hosted Mike's birthday in the yard with burgers and jokes that didn't use anyone's marriage as a prop. I went to a school event with Jenna where kids showed off art glued to poster boards. We stood in a gym that smelled like rubber and hard work, and I looked around and thought, this is what normal is supposed to feel like. Humble, grounded, nobody auditioning. Lauren never came back to the porch. She emailed about logistics, and I responded with dates and numbers. No heat, no bait, no midnight monologues. I kept my final line exactly where I left it. Sometimes I still think about that night at the cafe. Not with fire, with precision. A man touched my wife's hand and smiled like life owed him exceptions. He didn't take anything from me. He gave me something, a clean exit. Without that small moment on a sidewalk table, I might have kept bargaining with fog. The last time our paths almost crossed was at the grocery store. I turned down an aisle and saw her mom's cart at the far end. Lauren wasn't with her. Our eyes met for a second. Her mom looked away first. I kept walking, not out of malice, out of finish. Some doors you close, and some doors close for you. I keep the porch light on now because I like how it looks against the new paint. I sit there some evenings with a book and the dog Mike bullied me into adopting. Jenna swings by after practice sometimes, drops a bag of takeout, and we eat on the steps like kids who forgot about formal dining. She'll ask how my day was. I'll ask how her students are doing, and we'll let the quiet finish our sentences. That's my story. No parades, no flames. Just a man who stopped begging for respect and wrote his own rules in marker. The line held. The house is calm, and when I think back to that first locked bathroom door, I don't feel anger. I feel grateful. I listened to the smallest sound in the room and moved before the ceiling fell.